Morning everyone. So the sun's shining, it looks like we're finally heading towards summer, which is fantastic. And this week's theme of the week is based on a feast day that's coming up on the 23rd of April. So I have some helpers this week from Year 7 who are going to tell us all about it. So I'll hand over to them.
St. George's Day is on the 23rd of April. St. George's Day is a special day for people in many countries. In Brazil, Italy, China, Portugal, Greece, India, Canada, Lebanon, Ethiopia and Malta, St. George is remembered. St. George is special to England, like St. Patrick is special to Ireland. Why is St. George special? What did he do? Some of the things we know are true, and some is made up. First, the true story.
George was born in a country that is now called Turkey nearly 2,000 years ago. His parents were Christians and his father was a soldier. When George was old enough, he joined the Roman army. George was a very good soldier and he was put in charge of many other soldiers. He was sent to a place called Nicomedia as a special guard to the Emperor Diocletian. Diocletian was not a kind emperor. He did not like Christians, people who prayed to Jesus, and made an order that they were all to be killed.
George was ordered to kill Christians, but he would not do it. He told the emperor that he was wrong to order him too, and that he was a Christian too. The emperor was very angry and ordered George to be killed. He died on the 23rd of April. Many people heard how brave George was. They became Christians too. For hundreds of years, people in different countries all over the world heard about George. After he died, George was called St. George, which is a name given to some Christians to show they are special. All over the world, churches were built and named after him. When England soldiers went to fight in different countries, they heard about St. George. They wore red crosses on their clothes and shields and called it the Cross of St. George.
So St. George did some pretty cool things, and he showed an immense amount of courage, standing up for something that he truly believed was wrong. And let's be honest, murder in any sense is wrong. But to have the courage to stand up to a really powerful leader and say, no, I'm not listening to your orders, I'm not following your orders because it's wrong, takes a lot of courage. So I wonder if there's anything in the Bible that speaks about courage. Well, here's a verse from Ephesians. Have a listen.
Take up the whole armour of God, fasten the belt of the truth about your waist, put on the breastplate of righteousness, as shoes for your feet, put on whatever will make you ready to proclaim the gospel of peace. Take the shield of faith, take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
So that Bible verse is kind of describing the outfit that a knight might wear. And I think we often think of knights when we think of the word courage. And it describes each object of clothing that they wear, and it gives it a value. Okay, so we think about the belt of truth. So if you're going to be courageous, you need to be living out a truth. You need to have something that you believe in, that you are going to fight for. So that's quite an important value to hold when it comes to courage. And then it talks about the breastplate, so that's the chest shield that knights would wear. And it calls that righteousness. Again, that's that picking between right and wrong and following the right path. It then says to put on shoes and proclaim the gospel. Well, we've spoken to you numerous times now, myself and Josh, about how we can follow Jesus' lead and how we can be better Christians. And that character development that we gain through faith, that gives us courage to go out and do right things and challenge people who are doing wrong things. So that verse in Ephesians is quite important, and I think it describes exactly what St. George was about. St. George stood up for what was wrong. He put himself out there and he was willing to die to save others. I'm not saying any of us are ever going to have to be in that situation. I hope we don't. But when you hear wrongdoing in school, are you going to be the person to step up and say no? No, I don't agree with that. If you hear someone using a racist word, or you hear someone using a term that's homophobic, do you just ignore it? Or are you going to turn around and say, don't say that. It's not right. It's wrong. It's offensive. It hurts people. Let's have a look. Can you be a more courageous and righteous person over the coming weeks to challenge injustice? Because we read about injustice all the time in the news, and it's just not right. And it can make the world seem quite a nasty place. So let's make St. Michael's a better place. We're going to end this morning with a final prayer.
Almighty God, we have been taught by the legend of St. George to fight against evil and to rescue the helpless. Deliver us the truth of the gospel from the great dragon that leads us to the world astray. Free us from our slavery, sin, and death, and grant that your light may dawn again on this nation of England. Through Jesus Christ our Lord.